Hi guys, it's Glenn Adamson here again. I hope you enjoyed the previous video about nutrition. Today's video is the third video in the series, and I'm going to be talking about weight training. Now, I tried to record this in the gym, but the gym owners weren't too happy about it, so I thought I'd just do a brief presentation instead. Okay, so there's 7 points or tips that I'm going to cover today. The first of which is the use of free weights. Now, I see a lot of people using machines and cables and that type of thing, but really to work and develop those stabilizer muscles and overload your muscles in terms of growth, you really need to be using free weights. So that includes, both your dumbbells and barbells, or your Olympic bar. So they're really an important component of building consistent muscle and have the ability to overload your muscles. I certainly recommend, if you're training by yourself, for safety purposes, to use dumbbells instead. So really, with the free weights, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to everything because your balance might be a little bit off, and that's where the use of those stabilizer muscles will come into play. Now, the second point I want to make is about building a foundation, okay, and also building a reasonable technique. So, depending on your levels, you might be a novice and just starting out. I'd really recommend starting with your full body workouts, just to get everything balanced initially, and then you can start moving to body part workouts once you've kind of got your base level of fitness up. Now, the reason behind initially starting full body workouts is you want reasonable strength in all of your muscles. So say, for example, when you're training chest, your forearms aren't giving way, or your triceps or back or shoulders aren't giving way, so you can really feel that tension through your chest and really build that additional muscle. And really the whole point of it is you've got to get the foundation and technique right, because otherwise you're not going to be able to push through those plateaus. You only go so far. So it's really an element of just leaving your ego at the door and realizing, look, if I can't do this exercise properly at this weight, I really need to drop down, and just keep persisting with it. And then once you get the form and your form is solid, then you can really increase the weight, and you'll notice you can just keep powering through. Whereas some of your friends might have been lifting heavier weights initially, but their form's all over the place, and also you're more prone to injury when you have bad form. Okay, so really focus on the form. Now, the other part is the next point is you want to focus on compound exercises to build bulk and strength. Now, what are compound exercises? Well, compound exercises are basically exercises that use more than one weight. More than one muscle group at a time. So say, for example, bench press. Not only are you using your pecs or your chest muscles, you're also using, your forearms, your triceps, your shoulders, your back, and you can also feel it in your arms. So it's using a lot of muscles to really push that weight. Another one would be, say, for example, shoulder press. Once again, you're using your forearms and your triceps and your shoulders, and to an extent your core to stabilize yourself. Or another classic compound exercise is squats, where you can feel it through your quads, your hamstrings, your butt, through your core as well, and also through your trap muscles, trapezius muscles. Now, moving on to the fourth point, is really what you want to be doing is you only want to be training 3 days a week. Now, these 3 days a week, they want to be intense, heavy sessions, and I really recommend that you have a break in between each training session. So you might decide that you're doing weight training on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so you're always ensuring you have a day break in between. Now, the reason I say this is overtraining is your worst enemy, and I know when I started I just really didn't get it. We would train say 5-6 days a week and wonder why we weren't getting the gains we wanted, and really it came down to not letting our muscles time to recover and grow. So it's really important just to kind of curb your enthusiasm a little bit and just train 3 days a week with weights. Another couple of those days you might look at some light cardio, but I wouldn't go any more than half an hour for the cardio. So you'll really find that if you don't train more than 3 days a week, you'll certainly find some gains there, and then make the most of those rest days and get lots of sleep and lots of food into you. Now, the fifth point is, in all of your sessions you should be carrying a notebook. So you're always referring to the previous session that you did, the similar exercises to. So you're always monitoring what weights you're lifting and how many repetitions and how many sets you're doing. So you always want to be trying to improve upon that. So pushing yourself each session to improve, if not, at least staying the same. You certainly don't want to be going backwards. And you can make notes in terms of, okay, well that first set I went a little bit heavy, or it was a little bit light, and then you're always just refining things, and then you're constantly improving. Now, the sixth point is talking about maximum reps or maximum repetitions. So on a per set basis, I wouldn't go more than 10 or 12 reps per set. I certainly wouldn't go beyond that, because really it's about building bulk. Once you kind of get past that 12, you're really looking at toning. So really stick to that 10 to 12 to build bulk, and then certainly your second and third set, your reps would be lower than that, but as I said, you don't want to go more than 10 to 12. Finally, the last point is, use your iPod or MP3 player. Have some music going to really pump you up and get you going. I mean, you can just chill out, in between exercises. You don't need the music blaring all the time, but some old school stuff or some heavier stuff, whatever it takes with a good beat. Some of the old school stuff I listen to is like Prodigy, and that's certainly been really beneficial, especially if you're feeling a little bit tired. Gets you focused and in the zone, and just gives you a little bit more of a kick, especially on that last set when things are getting a little bit heavy. Okay guys, so those are my 7 tips for the weight training component, the muscle building triad. So appreciate your time, and feel free to leave any comments or questions below. Alright, thanks.